Welcome to Don't Mind Me, I Just Have ADHD, the podcast where fierce kindness meets the unfiltered truth. A one-stop shop about all things ADHD, where we smash the stigma and mystery around ADHD, depression, and the masks we wear at work and in life. I'm Ron, your ADHD guy, your guide, and your reminder that being different isn't a flaw. It's a biological advantage, a signal that you were never meant to blend in. You were built to make a difference. Here, we face the struggles that no one seems to get with heart. We unpack the chaos. We build strength through our sensitivity. We turn pain into power. Because kindness isn't weak. It's a revolution. And every time you show up for yourself, that's you taking your life back. So let's make it cool to be different. Let's make it brave. Let's make it yours. Hey there, and welcome back to Don't Mind Me, I Just Have ADHD. I'm your host, Ron Souers, your ADHD guy. Today, I want to talk to you about something that isn't just important. It's critical. We're diving into workplace well-being. Not the corporate jargon kind. Not the yoga at your desk. I'm talking about real, science-backed well-being and how ignoring it is costing lives, productivity, and entire futures. So sit back and get ready to be empowered. Now let's start with distractions. If you've got ADHD like me, you already know how slippery focus can be. But even for neurotypicals, workplace distractions have serious consequences. According to research published by the National Safety Council, distraction is one of the top causes of workplace injury, especially in warehouses, manufacturing, and even healthcare. Distraction isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous, costly, and predictable. In fact, a study from the Healthy Minds Innovation Program showed that people who trained in well-being practices like mindfulness had significantly higher attention control, resulting in fewer errors and faster recovery from stress. So why are we still treating paying attention like it's just a personal problem instead of a real workplace issue? So my personal experience with this is about a year ago, I was hired on to, I've changed roles within the company that I have, been working for. And, I thought I was good with my ADHD and I had it under control, and that, that wasn't the case, because I had stopped seeing my therapist at that time. And one of the functions of that role or requirements was to operate a fork truck. And I really had inadequate training on that. And, it became a real issue where I was like running into all types of stuff, smashing pallets. Like I even ran into a reinforcement concrete pole and, just bent that up. I was lucky it didn't do further damage because it was protecting an energy conduit that if I had, I probably wouldn't be here or be severely handicapped. I punctured drums, like got chemical everywhere. Like it was yeah, and the final straw that broke the camel's back was like I was getting a tote down and I went the wrong way and ended up lowering the forks and taking out a guard for these pipes, and luckily no chemical had ruptured or I broke one of those pipes, but it was close, and it had this hanging piece of metal, and it was dangerous. And what happened was, like, I was distracted and I was seeing my therapist. I returned to seeing my therapist because it became overwhelming, all the things that were going on, and I was practicing slowing down. But in that moment I got distracted, and they really didn't ask me what was going on. I didn't feel like I was in a position to I thought using my ADHD was an excuse. I didn't know how to speak up for myself in that situation. So it had created, like, I thought I was going to get fired. So I had to step down from that role because I didn't have an avenue to really express, like, look, maybe I shouldn't have been in that role, because, like, I can get, like, my brain is, and anybody's with ADHD has a high level of distractibility. And I believe that if that was taken more seriously, that maybe I could have had less stress in that role and continued to thrive. But if that incident didn't happen, I wouldn't be here today. So, but I am addressing that in my letter to corporate. This is not a complaint, yet in the spirit of trying to show concern and help others so that they don't have to go through the same thing. And I'll keep you guys updated on my progress. Now, here's a fact that'll punch you in the gut. Stress is the #1 cause of mental health decline, according to American Psychological Association. And it's directly tied to both presenteeism, when people show up to work but can't function, and absenteeism, when they don't show up at all. The cost? Over $300 billion annually in the U.S. alone, based on estimates from WHO and Gallup. But what if I told you there's a fix? Healthy Minds Innovation developed a workspace training program backed by the Center of Healthy Minds at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And guess what? The results were jaw-dropping. 30% improvements in emotional resilience, 20% boost in focus, and noticeable drops in burnout and turnover. That's amazing. Just let that sink in for a minute. Most companies are desperately trying to get 1 or 2% increase in sales and production each year just to stay competitive. Those numbers are literally 15 to 30 times that. And a happy employee is a productive employee. So if you are a manager or a CEO listening right now, and don't buy into the whole woo-woo, I got to talk to them about their feelings now. The numbers speak for themselves. And when every dollar that you invest into well-being, you get back 3. That doesn't even begin to talk about the savings on the back end with healthcare costs and turnover. So to me, it just seems like a no-brainer. So do you feel like at where you work that it's okay to talk about mental health?
No. Well,
So why not?
it should be. But particularly at government jobs, it's not something that too many people talk about or care to talk about. I think that, especially with the demographics in certain government agencies, once you start to talk about what your weakness is, if you want to see it as that instead of a superpower, people definitely are like, they use it to validate them not liking you. Like, oh, okay, that's the reason why I never liked her to begin with, because XYZ.
Yeah, so it's just more of like they'll use it against you type thing.
And especially in reviews, it shouldn't happen, but I find that it is used against people during their monthly and yearly reviews. Even if they start to get help with it, it's always brought up like, oh, well, remember how so-and-so used to be? They're better now, but that's how they used to be. And it always has that negative stigma.
I would say, like, working in hospitality, it's funny because I would say that having ADHD in that environment is kind of considered a superpower, but more in terms of like exploitation. Like, they're gonna take advantage of the fact that you want to make sure everything's done to a T, you're perfectly, or that the way you speak, like a person perfected your verbiage, or like little things here or there, putting up decorations, but they'll never like attribute that to like the people who are doing it. They're gonna attribute it to the whole office. Stuff like that, where it's like the things that show that you really care, you're never gonna get that recognition for, and they're gonna keep you where you are, so that way you continue to do that and show that, because it's front facing, especially the front facing work, I would say.
Or it would kind of be seen as just like an excuse.
You gotta pay attention to.
Yeah, it would kind of be seen just as like, I think in general, mental health probably this field is not really like seen as like an actual problem.
No, absolutely not. I didn't even know what it was.
Okay.
You know, I just knew that it's hard to focus on one task at a time, and I had to learn to recompartmentalize my brain. That's all.
Okay, so like to fit into the system.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to get things done, and to make. I think that for me, it's not as much about fitting in the system as making sure that my behavior and my tasks or my routine can fit in the environment that I'm in. If that makes any sense.
So do you feel like you could have talked to your boss, or you can talk to your boss now about it?
No. There's no sensitivity for it in the workplace. Absolutely not.
And why do you think that is?
I just think because everything is so numbers driven.
Yeah.
It's so bottom line driven.
Yeah.
I think that, most employers, at least now in today's world, they don't care about the average employee.
Yeah.
They don't. They care about their shareholders.
Yeah.
They care about how you as a consumer view their product, not how you as someone who works for a product feels about the company and how they treat you.
Okay, so from Atlanta, it's a huge film hub, so I've worked on different film projects and stuff like that. It wasn't something you talk about. The hours are so incredibly long, so your mental health is degraded by hour.
Yeah, stress.
10, and you still got 5 more to go.
Wow.
So it's, at least in my experience working in the film industry in Atlanta, I'm narrowing down a lot, it wasn't as talkable as a subject as it probably should have been. Because I saw a lot of people, you get to these long hours, in mental health, meaning specifically the not effects of any sort of mental illness or debilitation, but more as exhaustion.
Now here's where I'm about to get fired up. You wouldn't put someone who's colorblind in charge of a paint matching department, right? So why do we keep putting neurodivergent folks, ADHD, autistic, dyslexic, etc., into roles that actively punish their brain wiring? Without asking, without adapting, without caring. It's not just bad management. It's mental health negligence. And yet we have managers out here giving out cookie cutter performance improvement plans like their breath mints. The number of Americans seeking therapy is skyrocketing, and most of us are paying out of pocket, not because we're broken, but because our system is. If companies invested half of what they spend on turnover into supervisor mental health training, they'd see transformation. They'd see real change. So here's the action plan. 1, train your supervisors in mental health awareness and trauma-informed practices. This goes such a long way. I'm sure that you've had experiences that no one knew how to deal with, that had to deal with severe mental health issues. This is golden. 2, include a discussion about neurodivergent inclusion in every onboarding and evaluation discussion. 3, use programs like Healthy Minds at Work, evidence-based, tested, and scalable. 4, stop confusing resilience with grind until you collapse and burnout. And that tired old adage of, well, this is what it was like for me, just suck it up and leave your feelings at the door. That doesn't actually work because we're not robots. And just think about it. Did you think that that was right for you? This is your chance to be the manager that you always wanted. And 5, normalize checking in with your team like they are humans, not numbers. Are you guys familiar with the ADA, American Disability Association?
Yes.
And that, you have the right to ask for accommodations. So even with that, like in the government, they still frown upon it. It's incredibly.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I actually quit not too long ago because it was pretty toxic, and I started off there entry level, worked my way up through management, and seeing it from both ends, it sucks. And there are a lot of people who I would say deserve more out of it, and we could do more for our communities if we just appreciated it as opposed to adding that negative stigma onto it or trying to like box people in. It sucks, but it truly can be a superpower. I think that there should definitely be free resources for it.
Yeah.
People should be made aware of it. And I think that we should just be more accepting of the fact that some people are out here with ADHD, whether they're regulating everything well, they're doing a good job at it, or whether they're struggling with it. Just be empathetic, whether you're in the workplace or not.
Full application process. There might even be a question about that if they ask about medications we're on or whatnot.
Yeah.
So that might be something they screen for in general.
Yeah. Do you think like if they did that would help to motivate you, make you feel valued?
I think that it's kind of a double-sided question. I think that one, you have to find that value on your own, because I don't think that I think if you're expecting your employer to understand and really cope with that, I think you're asking too much. Yeah. Not the way that and that's not the way that it should be. It's the way that it is. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think that there are certain tasks and there are certain, exceptions that should be granted to people with ADHD or neurodivergent. I think that you have to understand, but I think a lot of that boils down to not enough people are diagnosed with it. Yeah. To really be able to say, okay, look, and I think that for a workplace to really be able to adapt to it, I think that there has to be more research and more qualifications, more medical background on, okay, what does that look like for somebody? Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that you're not smart. It doesn't mean you're not a great employee. It doesn't mean that you can't do the job better than anybody else in the building. Your brain just operates differently. Yeah. And I think that if they arm, supervisors, managers with that information, think about it. If you look at it from a marketing perspective, Everything that you do, that
Yeah.
you're served, that you see, that you watch is an algorithm.
Mhm.
And it's based upon who you are as a person.
Yeah.
So everything that you're served during social media is
Yeah.
based upon who you are,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
It's nothing to do with nothing gets to you by happenstance anymore. We can do that with marketing. We can do that with advertising. We're able to do that with human nature.
Yeah.
You know, so if you diagnose them, hey, look, you know, these are, and jobs do it. They do it like personality tests and stuff like that to get an idea of like, you know, are you an A personality, are you a B personality? And they try to figure out, you know, you're more analytic or you're more, you know, creative type stuff. But I think if they actually, if corporations actually took time to dial down on those forget a resume.
Yeah.
Resumes are great.
Yeah.
But if they spent more time on the psychological profile of the people that they're hiring and understood that, you know what, there may be ADHD, there may be a neurodivergent tendency in this employee, we could make him the best employee in the world, but these are there's certain ways that you have to deal with this employee.
Yeah.
There are certain lines of communications, there are certain job processes and functions that they're not going to be able to do. Or that they're going to thrive at, but you have to put it to them in a place where they can accept it and it's more palatable for them.
Yeah.
So, I just think at the end of the day, I mean, we're stuck in we're a capitalistic society. So we're stuck in a scenario where like people really don't care. Like as far as the job place goes. If they did, I think that, I mean, if you talk about, you know, workplace environment, stuff like that, I mean, look at the countries, they work 4-day work weeks.
Yeah, no,
You're on holiday,
100%.
You're gone for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
They understand the brain needs a break.
Yeah.
We don't get that here.
Yeah, we don't have a work-life balance.
No, they don't care.
Yeah, no, and I think in general, it's been good, and it's been told to me, it's like, you know, if you do have mental issues, something's going on, it's like, let somebody know, and it's like in my line of work, it's like, you're not going to do certain things. You still show up, you can work, but you're not going to do X, Y, and Z
Okay.
for everyone's safety. But just from my experience so far, it's not something.
But it's not like a real deep conversation
just
or like
letting me know,
a plan to
not
get
feeling
better.
it.
So one of my employees has ADHD. They don't often take their medicine though.
Okay.
I mean, I can see the way it affects his work. I run a video production company, so I can see it how deadlines aren't often met, and it's the trying and attempting to accommodate for that kind of stuff. As in make your own hours, that kind of thing, to do what you want to do when you want to do it.
Okay.
As long as deadlines are met.
Okay. So you definitely run your own business
For the most part, yeah.
and accommodate for like those mental health. Like, does he feel safe
I would hope so.
coming up to you and to, like, has he expressed like?
Oftentimes, yeah, because even still, deadlines aren't appreciated, I guess. They aren't met all the time, and it's trying to find an in-between to get him to be able to hit those deadlines, but then be able to do the work that I need to on his own time and not feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's incredibly shows incredible amount of empathy as like a leader and a boss.
I hope so.
Like and you don't see that a lot. You know, what gave you that mindset? Like what
To
like be
have empathy?
to be concerned and be accommodating.
That I like the person for who he is, and I know that these challenges are something. Sorry, you want an actual answer. I realize this empathy because this is something that a lot of people go through. It may not affect me exactly, but it is still something that people have to go through. And while I don't understand it, I can try my best to accommodate for these kind of things, because he is a great individual overall. He is a talented, he's fantastic. It's just something that we can overcome, hopefully together.
So yeah, today's episode isn't just another rant. It's a call to action to anyone listening who leads a team, runs a business, or if you're even an employee that is just tired of staying silent when you or someone else is circling the drain with overwhelming stress because you might get fired. I did, and I still have my job. That's how it keeps perpetuating. The more people that stand up for what's right, the more of a chance we have for change. Mental health training is not a luxury. It's a responsibility. So until next time, be kind, stay curious, and don't forget, I'm running a free masterclass called Unlocking Your Potential on Friday, tomorrow, July 18th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Just go to my website, youradhdguy.com. It's mindfulness that's not like anything that you've ever seen before. And like we were talking about earlier in this episode, how critical mindfulness is for your health, safety on the job. Come as you are, and it will be one of the best hours that you've ever had, and it's free. Again, it's youradhdguy.com. Spots are limited. I hope to see you there. And as always, with kindness, thank you for listening. Subscribe, and may the source be with you.
I think they talk about it. They talk about it because they know it sounds good to talk about it, because they do talk about it. But I think everybody knows they don't really care.
Yeah.
And they want the work to get done. And they want the work to get done as fast as possible. So like unless you have like a good boss or something, you voicing like, oh, I have a struggle with this or something, it's like not, it's actually just gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
I would say like the majority of culture. I don't think it should be that way. I think it should be a balance where you should be allowed to like be honest.
There are companies out there doing it, but it's the exception, it's not the norm.
Yeah.
You know, and I think if we talk about, first and all that kind of bullshit, if we're going to actually turn around and talk about that, we need to actually address certain issues. And a lot of it is neurodivergency in the workplace. How do you actually work with something like that?
Yeah.
Cost of living, work-life balance. So.
Yeah, mental health, for everybody.
That's everything.
Well-being.
That you have to invest in. That's a huge thing for why a lot of people like to do it or want to do it, because they're not going to see immediate return. You're going to have to wait for something to trickle down to finally start impacting